right now, corporations are obsessed about social media. What are they saying about us? What they will soon discover is how much that matters or doesn't matter. So in other words, in a year or two, or however many years it takes, the corporations are going to stand back and say, okay, all these people were saying all these things about us online. What did that do to sales? Anything? And if they discover that it didn't have anything to do with sales, they'll stop listening. And if they discover that it did, they'll keep listening intently. But right now, there's this like super hyper, kind of. And I experience it all the time. I came back from Vancouver from the media tour, and there was a little competition on the plane for luggage space, overhead luggage space. So I landed in Toronto, and I tweeted, WestJet, you ought to reinforce your carry-on rules. And before I even got a cab, WestJet had responded, and they were like, "Can you give us a flight number, and we'll talk to the ground people in Vancouver and make sure it doesn't happen again." Which is, just diffusing the situation. But that level of surveillance, that level of attentiveness was enormous, and it's happened to me half a dozen times in the last 3 months. That won't continue unless corporations can observe a correlation between listening to us and making money.
So, what do you say to the consumer with this crux time in mind?
It's the same thing I would say to them about participating in democracy. Absolutely make yourself heard online. Absolutely. But first of all, make yourself heard when you're pleased as well as when you're not. And secondly, make sure that what you say matches up with your behavior. It'll aggregate. That's the point, right? Because the corporations are going to sort of say, okay, so these people are saying that, and they're saying that, but then a year goes by, and then 2 years goes by, and they start to collect these things in the aggregate. It forms some kind of gestalt, and they correlate that to their business success, and off they go. And right now it is really correlational. But as the book points out, if you look at Warren Buffett's investment holdings, he's a big believer in branded products. He likes consumer products, and he likes brand. You look at Harris Interactive's list of the most reputable brands in the world, and you look at Covalence's list of the most ethical brands in the world. The overlap across those three lists is incredible. And again, that's just correlational, but it seems to me that that being famous in public and behaving well and being recognized for behaving well, it seems to have something to do with performing in terms of shareholder value, and that you want to believe that's how capitalism works, right? You want to believe that we're not just stealing from each other, and this moment right now in social media is our chance to prove that paradigm right from the street level, but it will pass.